Vishaya Charya Kabe Shuddha Viman Kabe Hama He Rabo Shri Vrindavan Vishaya Charya Kabe Shuddha Viman Kabe Hama He Rabo Shri Vrindavan Ruparagunata Pade Hoy Me Akuti Kabe Hama Puja Bose Jugala Piriti Rupa Raghunatha Pade Oide Akuti Kabe Hama Puja Bose Jugala Piriti Ruparagunatha Pade Rahumodayash Kartana Koroye Sada Narotamadas Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Jaya Sachidanand Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachidanand Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Sachidanand Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachidanand Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram. Jai Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. When I do kirtan each day, each class day, you should play kartals. You should play kartals. Okay? Not just one pair of kartals. There should be kirtan. More than one. . Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tattaya Namo Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bhangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Trishe Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satchavachai Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Guru Dev, Nitya Lila Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtatarasata Sri Shila, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and that I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Guru Devs, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtatarasata Sri Shila, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtatarasata Sri Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I offer my Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, and I offer my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all the Vaishnavis. Manasiksha, verse 2, we completed Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary, and today we're going to read the Anuvritti commentary of our Gurudev, taken from his actual lectures. So we're going to repeat the verse 2. Na dharmam shutigana niduktam kila kuru vraje radha krishna prachura paricharyam ihatanu sachi sunundandishvara patisutatve guruvaram mukunda prishtatve smara paramajashram nanumana. I'm saying the line and then you repeat after me. Na dharmam shruti gana niruktam kila kuru. Okay, you're going to learn this meter. This is a meter. There's a meter and there's a timing for saying this verse. For saying this, what is it called? This particular meter. If you don't know the name of it, they all have different names. So when you watch how I'm saying it, watch the beat of my hand. Na dharmam shuti gana niruktam kila kuru. Go. Na dharmam shuti gana niruktam kila kuru. Again. Na dharmam shuti ganam niruktam kila kuru. Praje radha krishna prachura paricharyam ihatanu. Praje radha krishna prachura paricharyam ihatanu. Praje radha krishna prachura paricharyam ihatanu. Now, Braje Radha Krishna Prachura Paricharyam Ihatanu. Braje Radha Krishna Prachura Paricharyam Ihatanu. Again. Sachi Sunun Nandishvara Patisutatve Guruvaram. Sachi Sunundandishvara Patisutatve Guruvaram. Sachi Sunundandishvara Patisutatve Guruvaram. Sachi Sunundandishvara Patisutatve Guruvaram. You say. Num Nandishvara. Again. Good. Mukunda Preshtatve Smara Paramajashram Nanumana. Mukunda Preshtatve Smara Paramajashram Nanumana. Mukunda Preshtatve Smara Paramajashram Nanumana. You say. Na dharmam shuti gana niruktam kila kuru. Braje Radha Krishna Prachura Paricharyam Ihatanu. Braje Radha Krishna Prachura Paricharyam Ihatanu. Sachi Sunum Nandishvara Patisutatve Guruvaram. Sachi Sunum Nandishvara Patisutatve Guruvaram. Mukunda Preshtatve Smara Paramajashram Nanumana. Now you say the whole verse on your own. Na dharmam, na dharmam. Very good. Radha Krishna Sachi sunum nandishvara patisu tattve guruvaram Mukunda prishtatve smara paramajashram nanumana. Again, Mukunda prishtatve smara param. Now, you say it. Mukunda prishtatve. No, you're getting stuck there all the time. Mukunda prishtatve smara paramajashram smara paramajashram smara paramajashram nanumana. Say it. Mukunda prishtatve. No, now you're practicing the proper meter. And in a few days, all of you are going to be able to chant this very nicely. Does she have the book open, the Manasiksha verse? Does she have the Manasiksha on her phone? Yeah. So whenever we're chanting, you have to chant along. You have to read, and you have to chant along. Translation. O my dear mind, please do not perform either the routine religious activities resulting in piety, dharma, or the irreligious activities resulting in sin, adharma, as mentioned in the Shrutis or Vedas. Rather, you should render profuse loving service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna Jugal here in Vraja. For the Shrutis have ascertained them to be the highest principle of supreme worship and the supreme absolute truth. Always meditate, O mind, on Sachinandan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is richly endowed with the complexion and sentiments of Srimati Radhika. And meditate on him as non-different from Sri Nandanandana. And always remember the spiritual master as most dear to Sri Mukunda. So, as I said, the Sri Bhajan Darpana Digdarshini Vritti of Bhaktivinoda Thakur has been read in the previous class, and in that class there were three major divisions from the contents of the verse. Now we're going to read Gurudev's Anuvritti. Gurudev's Anuvritti is very helpful for those who are trying to understand the deep meanings of these shlokas. And Gurudev is repeating what? Gurudev is repeating what Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said in a condensed way. And then in Gurudev's lecture, this is taken directly from his Hindi lecture. In his lecture, he is expanding upon it and clarifying everything. This book, Gurudev's version of Manasiksha, has been published with 4 lectures for the first 4 shlokas. And then after that, for the other 8 shlokas, there is no Anuvritti. Or there may be some comments here and there. But only the first 4 verses have his lecture that he gave on the verse, translated into English. So now, Sri Gurudev begins. This verse 2 explains the method of bhajan. You want to do bhajan? Anyone here want to do bhajan? If you want to do bhajan, you have to raise your hand. And if you don't raise your hand, you'll be kicked out. So if we want to do bhajan, then we have to know how to do it. Understand? Verse 2 is Raghunath Das Goswami's instructions how to do bhajan. There is a method. There is a method. That's what we're reading this Manasiksha for. That's the reason why we're reading this book. To learn the method of bhajan given by our Prayojan Tattva Acharya, who has lived this bhajan his entire life till he was practically 100 years old on the banks of Radhakunda. So we should understand how each and every shloka of these 11 and then the 12th shloka are essential for us if we want to do what kind of bhajan? Raganuga bhajan. What kind of bhajan also on top of that? Rupanuga bhajan. If we want to do this, we will never ever be able to do this unless we learn what Raghunath Das Goswami has taught to his own mind in the Manasiksha, and he's done that for us. So be very serious when you come to this class. It is not a light subject matter. It's a heavy subject matter. And you will not be able to understand it just by attending these number of classes. You'll have to read it on your own. You'll have to meditate upon it. You'll have to pray as he's praying. And you'll have to live it. You'll have to apply it in your life. Just like Upadeshamrita. Is it enough to just read the Upadeshamrita of Rupa Goswami? Is it enough? You just read it? And I ask you, oh, have you read the Upadeshamrita? Yeah, I read it. So are you following Upadeshamrita? Yeah, I'm following. Okay, tell me verse 1. No, I don't know it. Tell me verse 2. No, I don't know it. Gurudev cornered one of his Indian body disciples in Bombay many, many years before. And this Indian disciple, he was asking, oh Gurudev, can you please tell some very deep rasa katha? Gurudev said, have you read Upadeshamrita? Yes, Gurudev, I read Upadeshamrita. Tell verse 1. He could not tell. So then Gurudev said, you have no qualification to hear this katha. You have no qualification to hear this katha. First, you learn Upadeshamrita and you follow it. You live it in your life. Only then, when you've done Upadeshamrita up to the 8th shloka, and you've applied it fully in your life, then you can enter Rag Marg Bhakti, Raganuga Bhajan, and then you have to read the 3 shlokas, 9, 10, and 11 of Upadeshamrita about Radhakunda and Srimati Radhika. Then you have to learn Manasiksha. These are the 2 books. These are the 2 books. There aren't any others that are in this category. Srila Gurudev has clearly told the whole process has been given in these 2 books. Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. If you learn this by heart, at least try to learn it by heart. Not like some, no, I'm thinking of a slacker, like a slacker. That, oh yeah, no, I can't memorize it. No, what's Sarvadharman Paritya? What's that verse? No, I don't know. Not serious. Not serious about bhakti. In bhakti you have to use what? Tan, mana, vacha, and your emotions. You have to use this. What do you use it for? For memorizing shlokas, for meditating upon them, for memorizing prayers, verses, everything. One of the very few times, treasured moment, that I was able to actually massage our beloved Srila Gurudev. It was like this 1995, before he went to the West, or 96, I forget. But while we were massaging, there was 5 of us on Gurudev's head, 2 hands and arms, and his legs. And one devotee was directing because he was an acupressure doctor kind of person. At the end of that, all during the time that Gurudev was lying on his back, for at least 45 minutes, maybe even 1 hour, his mouth was always moving. His mouth was moving, but no sound was coming. So then after he sat back up on his bed, I also greedily took the opportunity to take his socks, his lotus socks, and slide them onto his lotus feet. And as I was doing that, I was looking up at him, and he was looking down at me. And I said, Srila Gurudev, can I ask you, during your massage, you were reciting or you were pronouncing something with your mouth, but no sound was coming. Can you tell what you were chanting? And Gurudev said, every day, 2 hours, stavas and stutis. Every day, 2 hours, stavas and stutis. That is part of the sadhan bhajan of those who are serious and they want in this life to come to the stage of bhav, if possible. Without this, it's impossible. But if they're serious and in this life they want to try to come to the stage of bhav bhakti, they will have to be damn serious. Not wasting time. Not contemplating sense gratification all the time. How can I satisfy my senses? No. They'll have to enter into Shuddha Bhakti, pure Bhakti. They'll have to enter into this pathway. As Rupa Goswami has told, Anya Bilashita. You have to enter into this pathway. Otherwise, no possibility in this life to attain the stage of bhakti. No possibility whatsoever. What to speak of even the next life. If we don't practice in this life, and we are slackers, what's another word for slacker? That's a slang term. Lazy, right? Something like that? Complacent, lazy, and just not really putting out much endeavor.
Insincere.
No, insincere is a different thing. This is a person who's not performing what they should do. They're slackers. So, if we don't become serious in this life, all of us are adults, we're all sitting here. The ages are ranging. The ages are ranging from late 20s up to nearly 60. And in my case, 72. And my godbrothers, late 60s. These are the ages. We don't have much time left. Those of us who are already almost, who are 70 plus, not much time left. Maybe 8 years. Maybe 8 years time is left. Wait, let me finish. Maybe 8 years is left. Maybe. No guarantee. 72 plus 8 is 80. But if you're 60, then you can think, well, I still have 20 more years, probably. And if you're in your mid-40s, then you start to think, well, I still have like probably 35 years. I'm 45 now. 35, I'll be 80. Okay? And if you're in your early 30s or mid 30s, then you're thinking, well, I'm not barely even halfway through. But none of us know when we're going to die. But one thing that we do know is that it will come without our prediction. It will simply come. Death will come. And it can come at any time. So, Gurudev has told us, if you are very, very serious in this lifetime, what time is remaining, the time that you have remaining in this life, by good fortune, we've all come to the path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Yes, by very high good fortune we've come in this life. Some have come later, some have come earlier, but we've all come. And now we should understand very clearly, what is this human form of life meant to do? What are we meant to accomplish in this human form of life? And then we have to put our nose to the grindstone and work hard. And if we do that, Gurudev said, if you completely surrender and you use all of your energy sincerely to strive with your utmost toward Shuddha Bhakti, then he said, whatever time is remaining in your life, you cannot even imagine what arrangement Krishna is going to make for you in your next life. That's the best case scenario. And what arrangement will he make? Gurudev clearly told that in that life, very high birth and very high sadhusanga and very high samskaras will be given to you by Krishna. And in that life, you can attain bhav. In that life, you can attain bhav. And from bhav, it may even be possible to come to the threshold of prema in that life. Or at least definitely in the next life. Because I was just reading in Prabhupada's 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm starting to read that now to prepare for Janmashtami. And I'm reading Prabhupada's purports. For the first 14 chapters, it's Prabhupada's purports. And Prabhupada repeated twice already in the first chapter. Twice he repeated, yes, in the purports, that those who are very sincere and they come in this life, they strive to attain pure devotional service. And they, I think he said they attain the platform of ecstatic love. Then in next life, Krishna will bring that jiva to the planet, in the universe. Not this universe, in another universe, where he is now performing his Bhoma Lila in the material universes. And that devotee will take his birth in Krishna's pastimes with his spiritual body that is eternal. So, this is what Gurudev told we have to try to do. But now, actually the majority of the devotees are not really trying that hard. Why? Because many anarthas are still there. And they're lacking sadhusanga also. But a lot of anarthas plus barely any real true sadhusanga means what? You'll pretty much not advance. There's a statement in the first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, first chapter, where Prabhupada's, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is discussing Guru Tattva. And there's a purport there where Srila Prabhupada said that a Madhyamadikari if he does not obtain very high sadhu sangha and associate with pure Vaishnavas, he makes no further spiritual advancement. Do you remember that statement in one of his purports? I can find it.
He also said something in cooperation with
Yeah.
insufficient guidance.
Insufficient guidance, that's right. That's about getting initiated by a guru who is not madhyam or uttam. But this is talking about a person who's not taking advantage of any sadhu sangha. Even he may have a very high guru. Yeah, there's so many. They got initiated by a very high, exalted guru. But in their life, they're not practicing seriously. And they become misdirected. What's the word? Deviated. Gone off course. And now they've succumbed to their anarthas. It's not a surprising thing at all that they will succumb to their anarthas. Because if they don't have higher sangha, they are just waiting to be victimized by their anarthas. You have to try to always stay in very high sadhu sangha throughout this entire lifetime. Once you come to the lotus feet of a Mahabhagavad Vaishnava, you have to try in this life to stay in very high sadhu sangha as far as possible. And you have to dive deep, deep, deep into the books that your Mahabhagavad Vaishnava gurus have given, because they've given all of what's in their heart. They've given it in their books. But you'll not be able to properly read them and understand them unless you're in very good high sadhu sangha. So in the case of somebody who's in that situation, actually our Gurudev came to help, to rescue so many of the senior Vaishnavas who had served very diligently in their younger years, disciples of Prabhupada, and who also came after Prabhupada. But they spent their younger years serving very diligently, but then they gradually became weak and went off course. So Gurudev came for them. Gurudev came to uplift them, to rejuvenate them, to put them back on course, and to teach them now what you have to do. What do you have to do now for the remainder of your life? This is what you have to do to go forward. But if someone does not endeavor in this life, of course, we're just talking about the norm. Krishna can always be causelessly merciful, right? Isn't it true? Mahaprabhu, Ajamil, was Krishna merciful to Ajamil? Yeah. Yeah, there's many cases. But Krishna can be, but we shouldn't count on that. We have to try to become Kripa Siddha through following the sadhana and the instructions that have been given, which causes the mercy of these great personalities to come to us. If we don't work hard, if we don't try, then we'll not make advancements. And we read last year, I remember, there was a whole conversation of Gurudev who was being asked the questions that what happens to the devotee who is in that situation? Well, he'll have to take birth again. And again, he'll have to come to sadhu sangha. So, but the likelihood and the chances of attaining spiritual perfection, full attainment of Gaur Prem, it is possible only if we start right now in this life and we try to fully utilize all of our time, like 8th shloka of Upadeshamrita. And we make such an endeavor, then Krishna will arrange. Krishna will arrange. So, Now this verse 2, Gurudev is saying, this verse 2 explains the method of doing bhajan. So according to the instructions of verse 1, one should perform bhajan after giving up all kinds of pride. If you don't give up pride and you can't do Trinadapi Sunichena, you ain't going to enter the pathway of bhajan, Baba. If you can't give up pride and adopt the internal moods of the third shloka of Sikshastakam Trinadapi Sunichena, no way you're going to enter into the path of bhajan. So therefore, Raghunath Das Goswami said it in the very beginning. So he says, according to the instructions of verse 1, one should perform bhajan after giving up all kinds of pride. Garbist. In such a condition, worldly life cannot be maintained. Huh? Right? If you're giving up all pride and you're just doing bhajan, worldly life cannot be maintained. So, Raghunath Das Goswami is advising that dharma and adharma both should be given up if one has the desire to perform bhajan. Dharma and adharma both have to be given up if you want to do bhajan. So, in order to perform exclusive bhajan of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, then one should abandon all kinds of dharma and adharma that are enjoined in the Vedas, in the Shrutis, and in other similar literatures. But by giving up one's daily and one's occasional duties, that's called nitya and naimittic karma, by giving these up, then life would become difficult and there would be several defects. So then what should we do? He's asking. So then what should we do? So the activities that help us in the course of our life, that are beneficial for this world as well as the next world, those activities are called dharma. So to not follow this is called adharma, and to do what is contrary to this is called a vidharma. Now we may not perform adharma, vidharma, or kukarma, unbeneficial activity. We may not perform them, but we have to follow dharma. So in the Shrutis, the religious duties, they are divided according to karma, jnana, and bhakti, those three. In the Shrutis, the religious duties are divided. Which religious duties? The dharmas. They're divided according to karma, fruitive activity, according to jnana, cultivation of knowledge, which is aimed at impersonal liberation, and according to bhakti, devotion unto the Supreme Lord. So now, Gurudev quoting the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 20th chapter, 9th shloka. Spoken by Krishna to Sri Uddhavji. He says, Tavat karmani kurvita, na nirvidyeta yavata, matkata shravanado va, shraddha yavan na jayate. You can repeat after me. Tavat karmani kurvita. Tavat karmani kurvita. Na nirvidyeta yavata. Na nirvidyeta yavata. Matkata shravanado va. Matkata shravanado va. Shraddha yavan na jayate. Shraddha yavan na jayate. Shraddha. Shraddha yavan na jayate. So here's the translation. Very essential verse. Here, Krishna is talking about Matkata. What is Matkata? It means discourses about him. Krishna is saying, my Katha. Matkata Shravanadova. So, until one awakens detachment from the results of fruitive activity, tavat karmani kurvita, or until one develops faith in hearing discourses related to me, one must carry out his daily and his occasional obligatory activities. So is this a contradiction to what Raghunath Das Goswami is saying? No, Gurudev is now going into a deep understanding of what is this Dharma in this context. Because Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, na dharmam, na dharmam, give that up. Don't practice it. So, now the Vedas also say, a very commonly heard statement, especially Hindus, ahimsa paramo dharma. Ahimsa paramo dharma. Repeat. Ahimsa, ahimsa paramo dharma. Paramo dharma. Ahimsa paramo dharma. So this is a statement from the Vedas which means that non-violence, ahimsa, is what? Paramadharma. It's the highest religious principle. To be non-violent is the highest religious principle. Then there's another statement. Gurudev's actually one by one, he's going over the different statements in the Vedas that Hindus know. Next one, Pitri Devo, say, Pitri Devo, Bhava, Matri Devo, Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava, Matri Devo Bhava. This means respect your elders and your parents. Next one, Atiti Devo Bhava. So Atiti, 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 Devo Bhava. Atiti Devo Bhava. Respect those who are atitis. You know what atiti means? Atiti means the opposite of titi. Titi means a time period, right? Like it's not the right titi or something like that, right? So atiti means someone who appears at your home without invitation. Suddenly appears. Respect those who are uninvited guests at your home. And then the last one that he says here, Acharya Devo Bhava. Everyone say Acharya, Acharya Devo Bhava. Acharya Devo Bhava. Acharya Devo Bhava. This means respect your teachers and your preceptors. Now, Gurudev is saying here, in ordinary day-to-day life, these cannot be abandoned. In ordinary day-to-day life, what cannot be abandoned? Gauranga? No. These are different types of dharma, not adharma. He says, these cannot be abandoned. In ordinary day-to-day life, these cannot be abandoned. And this is how one gets entangled in karma. This is how. This is how a person gets entangled in karma. When one realizes that fruitive activity and its fruits result only in suffering, oh, then at that time one wishes to become free. Krishna has just told that in this verse. Na nirvidyeta yavata. Yes? When a person realizes that fruitive activity and its fruits, that's called karma, the ultimate result is what? Only suffering. When somebody actually realizes that, and the ultimate outcome, then when one realizes that, then one wishes to become free. Right? Because if you understand, whatever I'm doing, it just resulted in suffering after suffering after suffering. So I have to stop doing what's producing suffering. So then, he wishes to become free from that. So, na nirvidyeta yavata. Gurudev is saying that no good karma results in eternal happiness. Doesn't matter how good your karma is, no good karma results in eternal happiness. And the ultimate outcome will be suffering. So, when a person gets married, why do they get married? Gurudev is explaining. One gets married for happiness. That's the reason why. That's why you hear all the marching bands, and you hear all the kirtans, and you have to listen to mundane music till 4 o'clock in the morning, because people are getting married, and they want to make a big rejoicing because that's auspicious for the marriage. And the husband and the wife, they're both looking at this marriage as being something that's going to produce a lot of happiness in their life. Right? One gets married for happiness. Gurudev is saying that right here. But guess what? It turns out to be what? Painful. Painful. What is the word for pain in Russian language? Huh? Oh yeah, bolna. Bolna. Yeah. Bol. Pain. Bol. Tolka bol. Tolka bolna. Is that correct? Only painful. See, now I've got all their attention because I'm saying Russian words. And I'm saying the Russian word that they like a lot. Bolna. People get married for happiness. But it turns out to be painful. That's what it turns out to be, ultimately. But you know, a very dull, foolish, mudha, after experiencing that, then they separate, then they try again. And then again they get painful. And then after experiencing that, then they try again. And we've got some high prize winners who have tried nearly 9 times. I'm not going to say any names. You can ask me privately, okay? But this means not at all serious about attaining spiritual perfection. Not at all serious. Some of you know that person. 9 times. So, one gets married for happiness, but it turns out to be painful. Purna. Yes, Goranga? What are you reading?
I'm just trying to get where this page.
It's in the second, it's just 1 paragraph down, or 2 paragraphs down from the beginning. Anuvritti.
Sometimes you tell me sloka, but I just receive the text.
At the Anuvritti, it's at the end. It's the last part. Anyway, so what is Gurudev trying to tell us? He's saying that no good karma, doesn't matter how much pious activities, karmic, good karma, activities that you do, no good karma results in eternal happiness. It's impossible. It's impossible. And guess what? Along with that, the ultimate outcome will be suffering. The ultimate outcome will be suffering. And here I'm repeating it for the final time. One gets married for happiness, but it turns out to be painful. Accumulation of wealth. Oh, if I get lots of money, then I'll get happiness. Accumulation of wealth also results in suffering. Suffering. That's what it results in. Suffering. So, when one comes to this realization, then he awakens detachment from material activities. Karma chaitani nirveda kritaha. Detachment is accomplished by what? Awareness of the misery of material activity. Do you want to accomplish detachment? Then you gotta become very aware of the misery of this material world. What does Krishna say that the material world is? In the Bhagavad Gita, he uses 2 words. Very pretty, very wonderful, decorative, poetic words he uses. Dukkalayam. That means full. Dukkha alayam. Full of suffering. And what's the second beautiful adjective that Gurudev, Krishna tells about this material world? Ashashvatam. Maharaj, enlighten us. What is Ashashvatam? And how does Ashashvatam spoil all of your happiness? Give him the mic. Bring him the mic.
Wait.
No. Temporary. Ashash. Full of misery? Temporary. So, temporary. Why is that in the same category as full of misery? Why is temporariness in the same category as full of misery? Because guess what? Even if you think that you've now kind of achieved a stable position of happiness, And what does Prahlad Maharaj tell about, what's that one verse again?
Charita, charita.
No, there's another. He's telling. So anyway, I can't remember right now. But Prahlad Maharaj has warned that even if you achieve some temporary happiness, because is there temporary happiness in this material world? Is there? Is there temporary happiness in this material world? All of you, yes or no? Is there temporary happiness in this material world? Yes, of course there is. Otherwise we'd die. We'd commit suicide, right? We'd commit suicide if we see there's no scope for happiness. So Maya Devi, Krishna's material energy, has given us the illusion that yes, you can become happy. There are temporary happiness. But along with that, the word temporary is added. Because that means that that happiness, no matter what type of happiness it is, no matter what sense objects that happiness is being produced from, it can be taken away at any single moment, and it will be. Whatever one is trying to enjoy in this material world, you can only enjoy it momentarily, and then it becomes disgusting. Yeah. So, when one comes to this realization that no matter what you do, it ends up in suffering, then what happens to such a person? That he awakens inside of himself detachment from material activities. And what is this detachment accomplished by? How does that take place? Because one becomes very aware of the misery of material activity. Yes. Now Gurudev is bringing up Draupadi and the Pandavas. Who were Draupadi and the Pandavas? The 5 brothers. They were pure devotees. Was Draupadi a pure devotee? Yes. They were completely pure devotees of Krishna. And they were fully surrendered to Krishna. Draupadi and the Pandavas were fully surrendered to Krishna. Did you find it, Gauranga? Draupadi and the Pandavas were fully surrendered to Krishna. But yet, even they had to undergo great suffering. Yes, they're pure devotees. In fact, they're eternal associates. But they had to undergo great suffering.
When Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, the sister of Draupadi, she prayed for calamity because it would help her remember Moses' future.
Yeah. But they had to undergo suffering. Then Gurudev says, King Harishchandra. There's a whole story about him. He followed the path of Dharma, yet he had to suffer. So, if one comes to this understanding that karma and the fruits of karma will result in suffering only, if one comes to this understanding that karma and the fruits of karma result in suffering only, then he becomes eligible for Gyan. Becomes eligible for Gyan, otherwise no Gyan. You do need Gyan. Vairagya Vidya. You need Gyan. But you can't get real Gyan and Vigyan unless you come to this understanding that karma and the fruits of karma result in suffering only. Now, Gurudev gives another objection. He says, but even the elaborate commentaries on Gyan that are given in the scriptures, they do not contain real happiness. Why? Why? Because there's no acceptance of Bhagavan. Those Gyanis, and all the scriptures which deal with Gyan and logic and all of this, even they understand, the Gyanis understand that karma produces suffering. But does Gyan give happiness? No. Because those Gyanis, they don't actually accept Bhagavan. They propound, what do they propound about Bhagavan? That Bhagavan is formless. They propound that Bhagavan is devoid of qualities, that Bhagavan has no form, no designations. This is what they propound. That means they don't accept Bhagavan. So this kind of a void perspective, it cannot contain what? Happiness. It cannot contain happiness. Why? Because there's no acceptance of Bhagavan. So if one listens to the glorification of the Lord, then by hearing such topics, one develops the desire to perform bhajan. By doing what? How does one develop the desire to perform bhajan? By what? If one listens to what? Achyuta, if one listens to what? One develops the desire to perform bhajan. That means you're not listening. I'm repeating it. If one listens to the glorifications of the Lord, then by hearing such topics, one develops the desire to perform bhajan. And guess what? When he develops the desire to perform bhajan, he gives up fruitive activities. He gives it up because of the desire to perform bhajan. And he also gives up impersonal knowledge. And how quickly does he give that up? Immediately. Immediately. He gives it up. A thought comes to my mind when I'm reading this. You know, all of us who are old devotees, we read Bhagavad Gita decades ago. We heard the message. We received the message. We studied the Bhagavad Gita daily for many, many years. And then we also had some exposure to the bogus Bhagavad Gitas written by impersonalist Mayavadis and bogus mundane scholars. And we heard Srila Prabhupada telling numerous times in his purports that one simply has to directly serve Krishna. And then automatically, one will easily surpass the stages of karma, jnana, yoga, and everything. And guess what? Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita stresses that in each and every page, each and every purport. His Bhagavad Gita is telling to do bhakti from the very first beginnings. And guess what? His Bhagavad Gita has made millions of devotees throughout the world. Has anyone else's Bhagavad Gita been able to do that? No, no, no. Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita did. By reading it, people become devotees of Krishna. So, what Gurudev is telling here, if one listens to the glorification of the Lord, then by hearing such topics, one develops the desire to perform bhajan. Yes. And then he gives up the fruit of activity, and he gives up the impersonal knowledge immediately. Not after some time. Immediately he surpasses the desire to do karma, gyan, all of that, yoga. He gives that up. Why? Because he listened to the glorification of the Lord. Now, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, again, 11th canto, 11th chapter, 32nd verse, this is expressed. This point is being expressed by Krishna. This is also a very prominent verse. For those of us who are preachers, we should learn it. Agyayaivam gunan doshan maya tishtan api svakan dharman santyajya yak sarvan mam bhajeta sa tu sattamaha. Repeat. Agyayaivam Agyayaivam Gunan doshan Gunan doshan Agyayaivam gunan doshan Mayadishtan 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 Api svakan Api svakan Maya dishtan api svakan Dharman Santyajya Yak sarvan Dharman santyajya Dharman santyajya yak sarvan Dharman santyajya yak sarvan Mam bhajeta Satu sattamaha Satu sattamaha Mam bhajeta Satu sattamaha Mam bhajeta Satu sattamaha. Okay. So Sri Krishna said to Uddhava, I have given duties to the human beings in the Vedas and in the Upanishads. And I have explained what is Dharma and what is Adharma. I have also explained what are attributes and what are faults. Gunan doshan, attributes and faults. So, to carry out one's religious duties, this is a positive attribute. Because why? Because it purifies the heart of the performer. So to carry out one's religious duties, it is a positive attribute because it purifies the heart of the performer. But to neglect such duty, this is a fault. Now he says, one who does know all this. He knows what are the attributes, he knows what are the faults, he understands what is dharma, what is adharma. But one who knows all this, and yet he abandons his prescribed duty, considering it to be a distraction to bhajan. Yes, Krishna is saying, this particular person, he knows all this, and yet he abandons his prescribed duty, considering it to be a distraction to bhajan. And then Krishna says, Mam bhajeta. And he worships me exclusively with the firm conviction that all perfection may be attained by bhakti alone. That person, satu saptamaha. Mam bhajeta satu saptamaha. He is the best amongst all human beings. He worships me, he does bhajan to me with firm conviction that all perfection may be attained by bhakti alone. So, now Gurudev is backing this up. He says that this is further explained in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 66. In the verse, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. This is all explained in that very same verse. So therefore, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami advises that one abandon all dharma and all adharma given in the Vedas. Because why? Because Das Goswami is telling to his mind that those things, they will not be beneficial to your eternal identity. So give them up and perform profuse service to Shri Shri Radha Krishna day and night. So Das Goswami is instructing his mind. And he's saying, he is instructing his mind which does not have ruchi. That's us. That's not Raghunath Das Goswami. But he is taking himself as not having ruchi. But Das Goswami instructs his mind, which does not have ruchi, but has developed greed to do what? To attain what? What kind of greed has his mind developed? It has developed the greed to attain the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to perform bhajan to Sri Sri Radha Krishna. So from the very beginning, devotion that is steeped in spontaneous love. Yes. From the very beginning, he does not aim at Vaidhi Bhakti. From the very beginning. He's not aiming at Vaidhi Bhakti. That is the devotion which is based on scriptural regulation. But what is he aiming at from the very beginning? From the very beginning, he is aiming at Rag Anuga Bhakti, the Bhakti that is steeped, his devotion, his Bhakti is steeped in spontaneous love. What does that mean, steeped in? It means completely submerged, that Bhakti is submerged in spontaneous love, Rag Anuga Bhakti. So, one point in the beginning of this paragraph is that Gurudev is pointing out that what we were discussing before that about dharma, adharma, etc., that Krishna has completely referred to that principle. In what? At the end of his Bhagavad Gita discourse, chapter 18, verse 66. in the verse Sarvadharman Prityajya. So now, again, I'm asking you to tell that verse. Where's your notebook that I told you about the other day? Have you written that verse yet in your notebook? You have? If you're lying, I'll know it.
I have, I can show the picture. It's like this,
Okay. How many times have you looked at it since you wrote it? And repeated it vocally, out loud? 10 times. Okay, I'll help you then. Because you've made some endeavor, I'll give you a little bit of. So the first line is what? Sarva? Aham Tvam. Aham means I, and Tvam means you. Because Krishna is telling this to Arjuna. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishya. Okay. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. Say that. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. The last line. Moksha Ishyami Ma Shuchaha. Again, Sarvadharman Parityajya. Everyone. Sarvadharman Parityajya. Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. Moksha Ishyami Ma Shuchaha. Now, with the verse, you have to write down the synonyms. Otherwise, you cannot learn the verse. You have to know what each word means. And you have to think about that as you're saying the Sanskrit. This is how you learn a verse. You cannot just learn the Sanskrit without knowing the meaning of it. And then, by knowing the meaning of the words, then you gradually can understand how those words are arranged in the verse to tell its meaning. So in this verse, Krishna is telling Arjuna to do what? From the first line. What is Krishna telling Arjuna to do? Yes. Sarva Dharma. Sarva means all, right? Dharman means dharmas. And Prityajya means give it up. Abandon. And what should you do, Arjuna? You should give up all these other dharmas that you're so concerned about. And what should you do? Second line. Mam Ekam what? No. Mam Ekam, then what's the next two Sanskrit words? Yes. Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. Say that. Means what? No. Sharanam. Surrender to me. Surrender to me. Sharanam Braja. Immediately you should surrender to me and give up all other dharmas. Then Krishna tells what he will do. After that, Krishna tells what he will do in exchange for Arjuna's surrender. Aham. Krishna says then, I, aham tvam, sarva papebhyo mokshishyami. I will deliver you from what? All sins, all sinful reactions. Sarva pap. Pap means sin. Punya means pious activity. All sinful activities, you don't have to worry at all. If you just surrender to me and you abandon all these other dharmas, then he says, I will liberate you. I will protect you. Sarva dharma, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami. I will deliver you, I will free you, I will liberate you from what? From all of your worries about committing sinful activities. Because the whole Bhagavad Gita is about that, isn't it? Is the whole Bhagavad Gita based upon Arjuna's worries? He told Krishna in the first chapter and the second chapter. Arjuna is worried about what? Big what?
Distraction.
Not distraction.
Killing.
Not distraction. What will it be? It'll be adharma. It'll be sinful activity.
Dharma means distraction.
Distraction? No, adharma doesn't mean distraction. Adharma, come on. Okay, so Arjuna, he was worried he'd have to kill his spiritual master. He'd have to kill his superiors. He'd have to fight and kill his relatives. Have you read the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita? I think you need to read it again. Because this was Arjuna's objection to Krishna, why he should not fight. The whole Bhagavad Gita is based upon Arjuna's statement to Krishna, I cannot fight. Is it or not? Is it? Yeah, Arjuna is saying, I cannot fight. And why can I not fight? Because it will be very heavy adharma. It will be very heavy sinful activities. But Krishna has explained the entire Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters, to Arjuna, and he has made sure that Arjuna has understood everything. And then he asks Arjuna at the very end, have you heard everything clearly with your mind? Are you free from doubt now? And are you ready to perform, to act according to my instructions? Are you ready? And Arjuna said, yes, I'm ready. So after Arjuna said that, then Krishna repeated Sarva Dharma. No, I mean, he repeated this final instruction that you should abandon all other dharmas. And don't worry. You know that this is the don't worry verse of the Bhagavad Gita? This is the don't worry, be happy verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Have you heard that song before? Yeah. Have you heard that song? I'm sure you have it in the Russian language, right? Somebody has sung it in the Russian language, right? Right? Don't worry, be happy. So this verse is Krishna's don't worry, be happy statement to Arjuna. Ma suchaha. Ma suchaha means do not worry. Do not have any anxiety. Don't lament. Ma suchaha. If someone cannot follow this, they cannot enter the life of bhajan. So, now Gurudev says, if one does not develop greed after hearing the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then one is the most unfortunate among all unfortunate persons. Who is the most unfortunate amongst all unfortunate persons? Who doesn't develop greed for what? Yes? That person is the most unfortunate amongst all of the most unfortunate persons. A person who doesn't develop greed after hearing the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, but Das Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami says that all living entities are eligible for this Raganuga Bhajan. He's saying that. All living entities are eligible for this Raganuga Bhajan. Why? Because everyone is a servant of Krishna. Every living entity, every jiva. Jiver Sarup Hoy Krishner Nitya Das. Every jiva is an eternal servant of Krishna. So now Srila Gurudev is addressing some statements that he's heard people say, and he's bringing that up in this context here. So what do they say? Some people, they say, do not read the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Do you remember hearing Gurudev tell about these people that say this? That you should not read the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam? Did you hear Gurudev tell about those persons and how they are absolutely, what? Wrong. Not ignorant, they're wrong. So, now Gurudev is saying, some persons say, do not read the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But, who should not read it? Who should not read the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam? It says in the Bhagavatam itself, who should not read it. In the first, or not the first verse, like the third verse of the 10th canto, first chapter. So he's saying, who should not read it? Only those who lead an animalistic life. So Sri Raghunath Das Goswami says, Radha Krishna Prachura Paricharyam Iha Tanum. Perform, do this, perform profuse service to Sri Radha Krishna here in Vraja. So, Gurudev is asking, what is Prachura Seva? Prachur Seva. You know in that verse? Karuna Prachur.